what was your draft like for you? Your second round's pick tonight, and there's a lot of kids waiting to hear their names like you were.
It was kind of
2002.
just, man, hope it works. Hope it works out.
Where were you?
I was at a friend's house. We had a pool party on barbecue at a friend's house, and I want to say like the 42nd pick, so the 12th pick in the second round.
You were 46th.
46th pick. There you go. I'm getting older. I forget. So just hoping that it worked out, and hoping that I landed in a situation. So I was drafted to Memphis and traded for Wesley Person to Cleveland, and never really got a lick in Cleveland. So I went from 2 weeks of training camp maybe in Cleveland to it used to be the D League back then, and it was D. It was nasty. Fayetteville, North Carolina. But to me, Rich, that experience, because I think a lot of kids exhale when they get drafted, like, oh, I've made it, and it's the furthest thing from the truth. That the journey has just begun once you've been drafted.
So you were drafted by the
Grizzlies.
Traded to
Cleveland.
On the spot.
Draft day, yeah,
right.
for Wesley Person. Yeah.
Again, that's what's kind of confusing for a lot of people, because the new league year is after the draft, that you got to go through these moments where it's not like, well, look who's on the clock right now. It's the Cavs. No, it's the Grizzlies doing it for the Cavs, what have you. So did somebody from Cleveland call your cell phone?
They might have called my agent. I didn't get nothing. I just heard, oh, you're drafted in Memphis, and then 5 minutes later, actually, you're going to Cleveland. I'm like, oh, okay. Both are nasty cities, but let's do it.
Look at you. So then when did you finally, you think, get your head screwed on right, where you knew what professional basketball was and to become a champion and whatever?
Man, I was mixed up in numbers because I wasn't necessarily getting a chance to play. I did what I was supposed to do in the D League, got a 10-day with the Clippers. And I think where I messed up was, this is when I went to the Clippers in 2003. They were just a bad team, and this was the same time that the Sacramento Kings were winning. So every summer, although I wasn't necessarily in the league, I was still, Chris Webber was my mentor, my big bro. So I got to work out with Sacramento in the summertime, and I had an opportunity to go back for a 2-year minimum deal with the Clippers. But this is the wave of Sacramento versus Lakers, and I was just like, man, I'm back at home and I'm training. And Adelman saw me training that summer and liked what he saw. So I was just like, hey, I'm going to respectfully pass on the opportunity with the Clippers, and I'm going to take this deal in Sacramento. And then I got traded with C. Webb to Philly, and the marathon began. And that was tough sled. I went out to Philly for the first time with no coat, Chuck Taylors, and just sweatshirts, and I was just like, oh, it was a rude awakening out there, boy. I didn't have no shoes, no coat, no nothing. I was miserable.
What happened? I mean, you went shopping is what you did.
Yeah, Webb took me shopping. AI took us to this place where everyone gets their stuff. And
give me your favorite Allen Iverson story, please.
Favorite story I can tell.
Nice.
No, AI was amazing, man. I had a lot of fun because I wasn't playing, and again, I was kind of like Chris's little brother, so I was kind of just guilty by association. I got to drag along with stuff, but there would be times where we would land off a road trip, and there would be a limo waiting, and we'd go to Atlantic City that night, and all three of us would get and I didn't pay for nothing. Right. So I somehow got a penthouse suite, and Louis the 13th was available. I'm just like, can I touch this stuff? Like, yeah, whatever you want in the room is yours. So, I didn't realize back then that, for gambling, they would give you whatever. And, I had some fun times, kind of eye-opening experiences, being with one of the greatest players of all time, and kind of just being kind of like a little tag along. I was 21, 22 years old.
Yeah, and who was the coach in Philly at the time?
First we had Jim O'Brien, who was and then Mo Cheeks, who was my career almost ended before it started because I almost fought Mo Cheeks. He was caught on still kind of being a player, and it broke my heart because I was a Mo Cheeks fan. Right. What he was able to do for that team and the way he led that team. But when he became the coach, he just kind of was too joking for a lot of people's liking, but particularly mine. And I wasn't playing, so I treated practice like games, and I would always do what you're supposed to get the extra work in. And I remember one time I was shooting and it was funny. I just talked to the shooting coach, Buzz. We found each other on social media, and I was shooting after practice one time, and he came in. And it was just me and the shooting coach. Like, I don't know why you're shooting. You're not going to get to shoot here. Ha ha ha. And I'm just like, you're a head coach. You're saying that. And then maybe a week later, we're in practice. And again, practices are my game. So I took a shot that I guess he thought was ill-advised and stopped practice. And you don't shoot that here. That's not what you're here for. That's why you don't play. So I kind of took off. I was going to pounce on him. And luckily Chris grabbed me,
Weber,
and stopped me from doing it. But I was gonna put pause on Mo Cheeks. And to this day, I don't dislike anyone. I dislike still to this day Mo Cheeks.
All the smoke.
Yeah. I've heard that. I've heard you tell that story. I was wondering if this
I
would come
left
out
out
direction.
the explicitives because I know we can't.
I appreciate
talk the way we talk, but you get the gist. I just the way he treated me and
Damn.
it treated other guys was not cool, and it's probably why he's a lifelong assistant.
Chris Webber's Hall of Fame hands came into the grip.
Yes.
Okay. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.